Okay, I hope that captured the scene that I was hoping to capture. That is a follow-up from the last video I did. Got these cute little bunnies that just have created a little resting place out under that bench out there. Anyways, this thing. Let's see. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about Cuba, the island nation, Caribbean nation, Cuba. It's been in the news lately. I went to Cuba many years ago. Kind of crazy to think how long ago. And yeah, it was, let's see, so I did not fly from the US to Cuba. I don't think that was allowed. I don't think there were flights from the US to Cuba at that point in time. This was like 17 years ago, I think. And I don't know that there are at this point. I'm not sure. I think that kind of diplomatic freeze I know some things changed under the Obama administration. And I don't know, did that open up flights like Miami to Havana or something? I can't remember. And then, I think after, I don't know, and it's something I could look up. But I remember, Obama going down to Havana, going to a baseball game, I think, talking with Raul Castro. Must have been in his second term. And then I think, and then I read, I think that things tightened up again under Trump. So I don't know. I mean, there's different dimensions and layers to all of that, the kind of legal and diplomatic situation between the U.S. and Cuba. So I'm not sure exactly where things are at right now, but I'm fairly certain at that time when I went there, I would not have been able to go from the U.S. directly into Cuba. And anyways, I was traveling anyway, so it didn't really make sense. It didn't really matter in that for that. But yeah, so I flew into Cuba via a different country. And it was interesting. It was a very interesting experience. When I got there, I was detained and interrogated. Maybe detained is too strong of a word, I don't know. But I was interrogated. I was taken aside. Can't remember exactly the setup. For some reason, I think it was there was like a big open area for customs, and I got taken kind of to one side and interrogate. Maybe it was to another room. I can't remember. I think it was all kind of in the same area. But, and my memory is it was quite a long interrogation, quite a long process. Now from Cuba's perspective, they were good with people coming in from the U.S. or wherever, in the sense that it's bringing in money, tourists, infusion of money. Um, so that I don't think that was really the issue, and I kind of want to flag this and hopefully come back to say something more about that experience. But I remember and again, I don't think this was really Cuba's issue, but they didn't stamp the passport. They stamped a separate like ticket or slip, and I think stapled that into the passport or just slipped it into the passport. And then I was to surrender that and get an outgoing stamp upon exit from the country. I think that's how that worked. But my memory of it, my sense is that they did that more for the fact of if I had, going back at some point through U.S. Customs, and if they had seen a Cuban stamp in my passport, it could have caused issues. I think that's what was going on there. But anyways, so I at some point got through customs interrogation, and I think I just took like a cheap city bus packed with people into Havana. I just wanted to explore, I just got there and kind of wanted to explore. Now, I met on that bus, I remember talking with a young guy, probably about my age, who was a doctor or studying to be a doctor, I think. And that was interesting. I mean, there's so much to say here. I kind of hopefully want to use some of these stories to talk about some bigger picture things or just some different facets of the experience. But I don't really remember the conversation, but the specifics. But Cuba, I mean, one of the things that's often kind of held up and touted as a success of the Castro regime and the Cuban Revolution, that project is the educational system and the healthcare, both of which, my understanding is, at that point,